I swung open my front door, expecting a delivery guy or maybe a kid selling cookies, but instead, there he was, a ghost from a life I'd buried deep. He stood on my porch in flip-flops, grinning like we were old buddies. "Hey, Jake. Been a while," he said, his voice low, casual, like he wasn't supposed to be locked up in a federal pen somewhere. The world stopped. Sprinklers hissed in the distance, kids laughed down the block, and next door, Linda's wind chimes clinked in the breeze. But all I could hear was the alarm screaming in my chest. My name's not Jake anymore. I'm Nathan Reed now, have been for 7 years, ever since I left that old life behind. But this guy, this phantom from my past, had tracked me down. I didn't need to ask how. I already knew. 2 days earlier, Linda, the HOA queen, had plastered my full address on Facebook like she was unveiling a scandal. Saw new guy at 523 Oakwood. Shady. Never smiles. Skips HOA meetings. Probably a renter. Saw she even tossed in a laughing emoji, thinking it'd shame me into kissing up to her little suburban empire. Instead, her post was a flare, lighting up the exact kind of danger I'd been hidden to escape. All because Linda couldn't leave well enough alone. It all started 3 weeks ago when I moved into Willow Grove, a cookie-cutter neighborhood so polished it felt like a movie set. I was relocated as Nathan Reed, a nobody IT contractor with a rescue dog and a single-story house on the corner. Not for the charm, but for the sightlines, fewer blind spots, fewer places for trouble to hide. The U.S. Marshals drilled it into me: blend in, keep your head down, vanish in plain sight. I did just that. Walked my dog, Rusty, at dawn. Worked from home. No parties, no guests. In VY Cybele. Until Linda knocked. She showed up with a clipboard and a smile sharper than a razor. Her hair was a shellacked fortress, her eyebrows arched like she was judging your entire existence. "I'm Linda, HOA president," she announced, then launched into a lecture about my mailbox post not being the approved beige shade. I gave her short answers, tight smiles, hoping she'd peg me as dull and move on. But Linda wasn't wired that way. My silence was catnip to her. She started sniffing around, VYing notes about my grass being a fraction too long, snapping pictures of my trash bins, even creeping around my backyard, claiming she was checking for pests. I reported her to the HOA board, but it was useless. She saw the board. Then came the post. A blurry photo of my house, address bold in the caption, shared in a public Facebook group called Willow Grove Watch. Another neighbor texted me the link, thinking it was a joke. The comments piled up: saw creepy. Squatter VY Bess. Why live here if you're gonna hide? Saw my stomach dropped when I saw one name in the thread, not from the neighborhood, but from a sealed court file, a life I'd faked my death to escape. I called my marshal's handler, Sarah, in a cold sweat. She was all business: screenshots, strange cars, don't touch your vehicle. Rusty sensed my panic, sticking to me like glue. I didn't sleep. Not because I thought someone was coming. Because I knew they already had. 2 days later, that man showed up. Not to chat, but to let me know I'd been found. Rewind a bit, though none of this would have happened if Linda hadn't made it her mission to control everyone. It wasn't about safety or property values. It was power. I didn't bow to her, didn't laugh at her snide jabs, didn't clap for her endless HOA rules. To her, that made me enemy number one. So she doxed me, not knowing she'd just blown a hole in a federal witness protection program, endangering me and restarting a nightmare I'd spent years outrunning. The marshals wanted to yank me out. New name, new town, same old drill. But I was done running from every nosy neighbor with a vendetta and a Wi-Fi connection. I begged to stay, just long enough to fix this. My house was a fortress: surveillance cams, clean digital footprint, skills from years in cybersecurity. They agreed, reluctantly, with daily check-ins and a promise of instant extraction if things got worse. First step: figure out how much Linda had spilled. If it was just my address, I could contain it. If she'd shared my car, my dog, my routine, I wasn't just exposed, I was a sitting duck, and so was every neighbor cluelessly scrolling her toxic Facebook feed. I dug into her online trail. Her post was still up, proud and public. More photos, my porch, my driveway, a close-up of my mailbox, even a delivery box with, "Read, VY Seibel." My new name, the one that was supposed to be airtight. Her profile linked to a blog Suburban Scouts saw. It wasn't just gossip, it was a data mill. She listed neighbors' addresses, labeled them with flair. Saw secret Airbnb? Late-night prowler? Saw my info was the jackpot, but I wasn't her only target. Her site fed neighborhood watch forums and data brokers, raking in affiliate cash. She turned the HOA into a surveillance racket. I went deeper, posing as a curious newbie in her comments. Saw, "Hey, new here. Spill the tea on that Oakwood guy." Saw her reply came fast. Saw DM me. "Donations welcome for the good stuff." Saw I screenshotted it and sent it to Sarah with a note. Saw we've got a problem. Saw by midnight 2 federal cybercrime agents were in my Levying room, laptops humming, tracing Linda's digital web. One looked up after hours of silence. "She's not just a busybody. She's a threat." Her server hosted dozens of similar blogs, doxing, smear campaigns, photos sold without consent. Linda was just a cog in a darker machine. The marshals classified it as a Tier 2 breach. I could stay, but they'd watch Linda's every click. Sarah's voice softened on the call. "This might be bigger than her now." That chilled me more than the man on my porch. I'd spent years erasing Jake, building Nathan layer by layer. One HOA tyrant with a blog had cracked it open. I stopped going outside, watched the neighborhood through tinted windows. Linda was still out there, strutting in yoga pants, bossing around a teen with a clipboard. Did she know feds were tracking her browser? Did she suspect the antisocial renter had sparked a federal sting? I wasn't waiting to find out. I set up a trap, posing as a journalist to bait her into a podcast interview. She bit instantly. Saw OMG, yes. I've got so much to say. Saw I planned to record her bragging, nail her with her own words. But first, I had a bigger stage, the HOA meeting. I walked Rusty at noon, knowing Linda would be in her yard, spying. She chirped. "Nice to see you out, Nathan." I smiled. "Thought I'd enjoy the day before tonight's meeting." "Heard you're chairing." Her face flickered. She hadn't expected me to show. At the meeting, I sat in the back, watching Linda strutting like a queen, clutching a pointless wireless mic. She rambled about gnomes and mailbox stickers until she hit community transparency. I stood, flash drive in hand. "I found something on a public site tied to our neighborhood," I said, plugging it into the projector. Her blog flashed up, then her Facebook post with my address, then logs tying her IP to doxing. The room gasped. Linda's face crumpled. "This is fake. An invasion!" she shrieked. I faced the crowd. "Federal agents verified this. It's not gossip, it's cyber harassment. I'm in witness protection. Her post endangered me, a federal program, and this community." Phones buzzed as neighbors checked the EVY Denke. Linda's allies froze. Then 2 plainclothes agents stood, badges out. "Linda Harper, you're under investigation for disseminating protected witness data and cyber misconduct." Her mic hit the floor. They escorted her out, her face gray, the room silent except for whispers. That night, I logged into our podcast call, but Linda had sent a voice memo earlier, smug and bright. "Saw I've been digging on neighbors for years. People pay for dirt. That Nathan guy?" Posted his address, and my traffic exploded. Saw I sent it to the feds. Combined with her logs, it was a slam dunk. Linda wasn't just facing angry neighbors, she was staring down a courtroom. But the danger didn't stop with her. Days later, an envelope slid under my door. No postmark, just my name, Nathan Reed. Inside, a grainy courtroom photo of me, young, testifying. Caption: "Saw still watching." Saw Rusty hadn't barked. Whoever delivered it was a pro. My cameras showed nothing, dead zones or a jam. Sarah's voice was tense. Trial footage leaked last month. You're not just on the radar hunted. She wanted me gone. I refused. I traced Linda's site logs to a Tucson library IP, tied to cartel operatives. They'd used her post to confirm me, not find me. They were circling. I played bait, walking Rusty past an unmarked marshal's van. An agent, Tom, stepped out. Think this ends clean? He asked. No, I said. But we can keep it contained. That night, an email hit. Saw you shouldn't have testified. Saw then a drone buzzed my yard. I tracked its path to Linda's street, logged everything, and built 2 digital folders, one with her blog's proof, another with her subscriber list, ready to leak if needed. Linda's face hit the news. Saw HOA leader probed for exposing witness. Saw her mugshot went viral, a meme by lunch. Neighbors came forward fined for bird feeders, kids doxxed for loitering. Her empire was a neighborhood-wide spy ring. But my real threat was silent, watching. I got Sarah to greenlight a counterintelligence ply, a digital beacon in a fake witness list, my name highlighted. It mimicked a leak but carried a tracking spike. 90 minutes later, it pinged Eastern Europe, then LA, then a house an hour away. They'd slipped, exposing a DVYCID. We had a location. The marshals hit a rural ranch house fast. I watched the body cam feed 3 men, one with my photo, a burner phone, a gun, a note. Saw confirm ID. Saw they were still debating my fate. When they were cuffed, I felt no relief, just quiet. Sir VYing wasn't the VYing. Linda's blog was gutted, her finances seized. She'd sold data to marketers, realtors, even shady PIs. The HOA dissolved, its reputation toxic. Neighbors nodded at me now, some ashamed, others wary. The DOJ didn't relocate me. My cybersecurity work had impressed them. They gave me a new role, training agents on digital threats, HOA leaks, small-town blogs hiding big risks. My trauma became a playbook. I kept the Oakwood house, upgraded it with thermal cams and blackout protocols. Not paranoia preparation. I started an anonymous blog, Saw Reset Saw, for HOA VY Tims and whistleblowers. It spread quietly, then exploded. People craved truth, control masquerades as care, surveillance as safety. Linda's still fighting her charges, blaming me. But her emails, her voice memos, her logs, they don't lie. And the men who found me? They won't be the last. The web never forgets. But I'm not hiding anymore. I'm watching. And when the next knock comes, they'll meet a firewall, not a witness.